Do people knock on the door while you're in the bathroom because you're taking so long because you're scrolling on your phone? Do you get lost in binge watching television episodes? Well, we're going to talk about type 9s and getting lost in digital media, lost in scrolling, lost in binge watching your favorite television show. This can be a real problem. It's not just a problem that 9s face. All of us are susceptible. I mean, let's face it, there's this huge organization out there that's trying to get you to never turn off TV, to keep it on all the time. And some of it can be good, some of it can be healthy, but anything that's not done in moderation, well, we need to work for balance. We want to balance the time away relaxing, watching television, with also time being productive and time staying engaged in our relationships and in our connections. Because if we don't do this well, we could find ourselves, rather than relaxing watching television, we could end up isolating ourselves away from all the things in life that would really bring us true happiness. And not the least of which is just not being productive. And so we want to tackle this topic today in this video. Hey 9s, are you watching too much TV? Are you too much Instagram, too much Facebook? And let's dive into this subject today. Thank you for joining me. My name is Dr. Tom LaHue. TV and everything that comes with that, video games, online, surfing the web, cringy, on your phone, digital media, social media, all of these things can be fantastic in our life in moderation, but moderation is really the key. And sometimes we're not even the best at determining what is moderate. All of us, if we're not careful, we can just spend hours. We could just waste hours watching videos on traveling through Holland, fixing a toilet. I mean, an endless amount of entertainment available to us. And that's really dangerous because, let's face it, we have things that need to get done. We need to comply our energy to the tasks around us and the problems around us that need our attention. And if you're a type 9, you know that you are driven toward comfort and peace and harmony and all of these wonderful things. But sometimes you can substitute real harmony and real peace in your life, real tranquility, for just mind-numbing entertainment. And how do you know if you've maybe stepped over that line? I remember coaching a lady when I was on a business trip out in California. I love California, beautiful state. And by the way, I live in Florida, if you didn't know, Daytona Beach, but I love Florida too. But this lady was a 9 and she was a writer, and she was beating herself up because she hadn't written anything in a long time. She would sit down and she would try to write. She wrote novels, and she had written like 9 or 10 different published novels. And she had many more ideas. The 9-wing one, you remember, is called the dreamer. And the dreamer is not the same thing as the doer. The 9-wing 8 is called the referee or the advisor. But she was a dreamer and she had a lot of great ideas. But she said, Tom, you know what the real problem is? There's just too much good TV out there. And so she would lose herself in one series after another on Netflix and Prime and all these services that are amazing, but she found herself just getting caught up in entertainment, so much so that she couldn't be productive. And that's where it starts to be a problem. So let's talk about what we can do. What are some main points here? I want to go through 3 main reasons or challenges, step by step, why we need to have some moderation and balance in our life in order to truly reach our goals and stay connected to what matters most in life. I mean, just think, like, just a couple generations ago, you had newspapers and radio and magazines, and that was about it, And so there's so many options that are all demanding our attention and trying to draw us in. And these stories, some of them are not so great, but I mean, let's face it, they're written by professional writers who know how to get a hold of your attention and keep you watching one episode after another. And this can be not a bad thing in moderation, but let's talk about escaping reality. Reality isn't always great. As a 7, I understand that desire sometimes to get away from pain and frustration, and TV or social media can be a great way to sort of take a break from reality. And we all need that at times. I think that could be very healthy. There's a lot of ways that we could do this other than in digital form, but I think that it can be good for you if you get weighed down with a lot of responsibilities and you get anxious or you get upset or irritated. Your mood level starts to drop, and you need to relax the mind by changing what you're thinking about. And television immediately does that for you. It gives you a different plot, a different narrative, a different story that allows you a break from your reality and gives you a chance to relax your thinking. That's why sometimes after you get done watching a TV show and you get up and take a walk, sometimes the solutions to your problems just sort of come to you because you're out of that anxious, worried state that life can put you in. Life has its challenges. Relationships can be difficult. There's a lot of health problems. And maybe you're not doing so good in the real world. And it can be tempting and luring to escape into this fantasy world of The Walking Dead and Everybody Loves Raymond, and the list goes on and on of our favorite shows. But if we're not careful, we can get sucked into a vortex that takes us away from our responsibilities. And so it's okay to escape from reality for a short time, but then we've got to make an effort to come back into reality and make sure that we're getting everything done in life that we're responsible for, and that we're not getting disconnected from the people in our lives that we love and care about. And as a 9, sometimes the tendency might be that if I haven't seen you in a month, you're probably fine. And I don't know that that's always true. We need to stay connected to people in our lives, and that's going to take effort and it's going to take intention. And so we want to make wise decisions. So perhaps maybe in order to balance this escape from reality, we set some boundaries. Like maybe we'll say there are certain times in the day when we allow ourselves to turn the television on. And outside of those times, we're going to try to find ourselves doing something else. And it literally may have to be anything else for a while until we start to master this area of our life. So setting a boundary and setting some goals, and then making sure that we're not just escaping reality all the time, but we're actually living in reality and owning reality, is a great step forward for all of us. The second challenge that too much TV presents to us is it can move us to inactivity and to procrastination. Procrastination is a real problem. It's not just something that 9s struggle with, but 9s often admit that they struggle with putting things off. We all at times tend to procrastinate. Procrastination is when you know there's something that needs your attention, there's something coming up that needs you to focus on it, but there's something within you that resists giving your time and attention to that activity or to that task. Something about it, it's just, I don't want to do it. I don't want to buckle down and make myself pay attention to this. And so at this point, when this happens, we're very easily distracted, because the reality is we kind of want to be distracted away from this unpleasant task. Well, when we do that, we're just delaying our suffering. And actually, we're kind of extending our suffering, because now we have this task or this meeting or whatever it is that's out there that's just kind of hanging over us. And it just creates this sense of anxiety until the task is complete or finished. And then we add the extra problem of now not only do we have this task hanging over us, but maybe we've missed a deadline, and so there's a late fee, or there are people in our lives that are upset because we haven't taken responsibility sooner. And so I would say as a 9, you might want to think about leaning into this one wing a little bit more intentionally. What would a 1 do when they wake up in the morning? Think of it as, I need to get my to-do list out, and I need to go down that to-do list and make sure everything around me that needs to be done is on that list. Now, I may not get the whole list tackled today. That's okay. I'm not a 1. But I need to pay attention to these tasks, and maybe if I get 3 or 4 or half the page complete, then I'll celebrate that and come back to the list tomorrow. One of the challenges can also be, when you look at this list, to make sure that you're prioritizing the most important tasks first. And sometimes as a 9, like the rest of us, you may have a tendency to keep yourself busy and occupied with other things like social media, like binge watching television or listening to your favorite artist. You may have a tendency to focus on other things while avoiding the real things in life that need your attention. Again, breaking your day up into chunks and saying there's morning, afternoon, after work, and then evening, and thinking intentionally, how much time do I want to spend during each of those? How much time is legitimate, and how much time can I give to relaxing or unwinding? And then maybe there's other chunks in the day that we need to stay productive and stay connected to our goals and to moving forward in life. A third area where social media and television too much can really affect our lives is it can create a lack of connection between you and real people around you. Because television and movies, they present sort of a false sense of connection, because you can lose yourself in a good story and you can lose yourself in good characters and really sometimes feel very connected to the people that you know on social media or to characters in television shows. I remember my wife's aunt, when she was an older lady, she raised her hand in church one time and asked for a prayer request for characters in a soap opera. And so that just shows you how sometimes you can get so intertwined in the stories and characters on TV that sometimes you can't differentiate it from reality. Now, I don't think that you're at home praying for people on television. Maybe we should, but I'm just saying that television and movies present a mirage, and really social media, what people post on Facebook, isn't always their true reality. And so we can sometimes, fall victim to the mirage of what seems like connections and forsake the real connections in our life that are available around us. So maybe next time when you want to unwind or relax, instead of just plopping yourself down in front of a video game, Assassin's Creed Part 14, the musical, instead of just losing yourself in social media or television, why not call a couple of friends? I mean, you're a 9, you're easy to get along with. You probably have a lot of friends in your network, but see, it's going to take some initiative, and initiative goes against inertia, and inertia is kind of a good and bad thing for 9s sometimes, but you're going to have to take initiative and say, I need to organize this, and I need to call 3 or 4 people, and I'm going to go do something this weekend. I will feel so much better getting out there with people and hiking or going canoeing, or it really doesn't matter what it is. But next time, instead of just alone by yourself in isolation, reach out to some people in your life and build those connections and foster those connections that are so valuable. So be careful about the lack of connection in your life that television and movies might move you toward. Taking control of your digital life is about reclaiming your time and energy. And by setting boundaries and prioritizing real-world interactions with real people, you empower yourself to live a more intentional and fulfilling life. Imagine how much more productive and creative you would be if you weren't constantly sucked into this black hole of digital media. So this is your opportunity. This is your opportunity to take back your life and to find balance between escaping reality and remaining productive and connected to the people in your life that matter most. So let's recap. Let's be sure that we don't overuse television and social media to just escape reality and allow it to move us away from being present to life. The second thing is, let's make sure that we tackle the procrastination in our life that sometimes shows up by scheduling our tasks and even our breaks, and so that we remain in charge of our schedule rather than the television. And the third thing is, let's continue to foster real life connections with the people in our life that make life worth living. If this video has been helpful to you, something that is said has been challenging or encouraging, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Put your comments below of how you find balance between escaping reality and watching television and staying focused on your task and connected to your relationships. Put those comments below and we'll discuss it further. If you want to keep going as a 9 on how to improve your life, check out this video that I've linked to this. And as always, thank you guys for watching and be present to life. I'll see you next time.